Team Deathmatch.
Alright. My name is Insane Raven. Today, I am going to be reviewing some Fuller House Season 2. Just in case you haven't seen Season 1 or Season 2, it's a Netflix original. And Season 1 ended kind of fun. There was love triangles, it was awkward, it was stupid. But it did what it had to do. It gave nostalgia up the wazoo. It was like, yes, this is happening. No, you're not dreaming. And everything is good. Season 2 starts up after the summer. And actually ends kind of metally on New Year's Eve. Starting out 2017. Which is cool. Typically I wouldn't take jokes from in characters in the show seriously, but if John Stamos, Jesse, for those of you who don't know because you're not a 90s kid for some reason, like that's the only age to be alive, being the producer, I'm pretty sure we can take anything that Jesse says when it comes to continuation pretty seriously. And he does make a joke where he says that certain characters should come back for next year because it'll be just as fun in the Thanksgiving episode. So we're going to see more of this show. And honestly, I'm in. Like, real quick, the show is stupid, it is cringy, it is something that
Enemy vulture on the field.
it is an obvious cash grab on nostalgia, but it's done in a way that it makes it feel like the original show is kind of still alive, and it makes me smile and even a couple times laugh out loud, which I'm not proud of in the slightest. I'm not even going to try to say I am, but what I'm trying to say is that it does the job it tries to do well, and that is commendable, especially when you are essentially a sequel to something as big as Full House was. Nodecast doesn't come in as much in this season, and frankly they don't need to. The fact that they came in at all in the first season shows like, yeah, we're still around, nothing's happening, and this is something we are 100% behind. But Season 2 definitely saw the show kind of take its own direction. It's definitely going to be more of a will they won't they type show. With DJ's character, with DJ kind of deciding if or not things are going to heat up. I don't want to spoil anything. For those of you that haven't seen the season finale, I don't want to spoil anything at all. So, all in all, I think it's very much going to be a will they won't they type show, and I am worried about how long that format can keep hardcore nostalgia addicts addicted to the show. It's very different than what the first show was, and I think it's a smart decision for the show to go, especially with all the groundwork that has already been made. I am just worried if it's actually going to keep the show alive. So I think only time will tell. I think only time will tell. Words are hard. How the show actually lasts and stands up. It got a second season to begin with. I think the producers of the show are very confident that they're going to continue making the show, and it's going to be interesting. So, now that I've kind of covered all the back work of the show and what the show is and what the show is going to be and the fact that we're not losing the show at any time soon, how did the second season actually hold up? Well, for establishing... Oh my god, what was that? For establishing... God, okay. For establishing its own thing, I think the show did very well in that regards. The show, if it's going to survive on its own merits, does kind of have to pull away from the campiness of the original. In this day and age, that level of camp and cheese doesn't work. However, they do use it as like a staple in the show, and they are very aware of how campy their show is. And they do kind of poke fun at that, and I think that's a very smart decision to do. The one thing I will say is that if the show can get kind of carried away with kind of poking fun at itself, there's kind of an Akko Taco moment where the show almost becomes an ad for Netflix, and personally, I don't want to see that in the show. Like, yeah, you're breaking the fourth wall, and yeah, you're real smart and clever and shit, but also, like, don't be that guy, essentially. Don't humble brag. So what do I think the story is going to go from here? Well, like I already said, I do feel it's going to take that kind of will they, won't they turnaround of some more modern shows. And I do hope that we continue to kind of see what we've seen established in Season 2 to grow. There was a lot of character development within Stephanie and DJ, and even Jackson to some point, and Max. I do, however, want them to kind of figure out what they're doing with Max. He is the 8-year-old in the show, and he's a very sassy, flamboyant character. And I was actually 90% sure he was going to be gay, and that was going to be a discussion that they had. And then they kind of changed it. Like, he's still as flamboyant and as Akko Taco as he is for an 8-year-old. But, I don't know. I feel like he's going to be a very interesting player on how times have changed since the original Full House. So I do hope that even though he is only 8 years old, and I don't want to necessarily see this show around for another 10 years, I do think it will be interesting to kind of see how they address this almost bisexual character that they've created. And yes, I am saying all this with the assumption that this show is going to go on for a while. Very much like how the first show went on. Because just because it's not as successful as the first show doesn't mean we won't see it as long as the first show. So back to what I was saying. The pacing is a little weird. I will give you that. They do have this whole very alienation type deal when it comes to the character of Fernando. He officially joined the cast, and he's even given a slot in the title sequence amongst other cast members. So he is now here to stay, but I'm not sure they use him in the way they need to. I'm just not sure if they need to take as much time as they did establishing the fact that Fernando and Max don't like each other. I think how they ended that kind of story arc was very good and very smart and very Full Houseian. That's not an actual word, but it just became one. So I do hope they continue to do more stuff like that. The second thing I want to talk about real quick as I round out this episode of IR Reviews is that I'm curious to see how all the little relationships actually come to full blossom. Right now, everyone's kind of in this honeymoon phase, so I do think it's going to be interesting if in the third season they do kind of play on this. Oh, something actually has to happen here. If I had to critique the second season, it would be that it didn't really go anywhere, unpredictable. Everything was kind of fun and usual campy, but there wasn't anything I felt that had I not been predetermined to make this video, there wasn't really anything that kept me going on the show. Yet you had just your massive guest star episode, you had your Christmas special, your New Year's Eve special, and all those, but there wasn't anything that was like, no, this one thing is why I'm watching it. Yet for some reason I can't turn it off either. It's very weird. So personally, I think if you're into the whole campiness and you can just put aside that it is probably one of the greatest cringe fests at some time that you will ever see. There's one episode real quick. There was one episode in the middle of the season that is so cringy. I actually had to, I had to stop watching the episode about halfway through. I was just cringing so hard. Which is a shame because that's that episode I'm referring to, even though you guys, if you haven't seen it, I'm not going to spoil it for you. But it is kind of the end of a story arc. So just to end it on such a cringy note is so disappointing. But it kind of sweeps down under the rug quickly enough that you kind of forget that you kind of just watch the massacre of a storyline. But I don't know if it can kind of still keep making those kinds of, frankly, really shitty decisions and survive on a platform like Netflix. Netflix is very much this very serious, very hardcore streaming service with a lot of great shows. So I'm worried that if it continues this kind of campiness, even though I've made a prediction of where I think the show can go and will go if it continues to go on, I'm worried that it won't have the chance to kind of go there because of how almost outdated the format of the show feels and out of place it feels on Netflix. The fact that it was able to come back for a second season proves that that feel might be unwarranted, but I do still have that feel. But other than that, I think it was fun. I think it was exactly the kind of thing you can put on with your mother in the room and just kind of throw back and enjoy some Netflix, which is definitely not something that can be said with all Netflix series. But it does have a lot of flaws. Anyway, that's going to be my review. If you guys watched Season 2, loved Season 2, I want to know what your thoughts of Fuller House Season 2 was.
Friendly drone support is
And I want to know if you think I got something wrong. Leave your thoughts and let's have a little discussion in the comments down below. As always, my name is Insane Raven, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.